Parshat Vayeishev details for us the drama in Yaakov Avinu's house and the struggle and the very intense feelings between Yosef and the Shifteka and his brothers. And this tension culminates in the very, very challenging story of Yaakov Avinu sending Yosef to find out how the brothers are who are shepherding in the area of Shechem, and the brothers seeing Yosef HaTzadik from afar. As our Mefarshim explain, our rabbis explain, convened a Beis Din, feeling that Yosef, Sforno mentions, was a rodef, was somebody who was trying to take away from them the spiritual blessings of being all part of the continuation of the Jewish people, and they felt they had a right to kill Yosef. They throw Yosef into a pit. Later he is taken out of the pit. He's sold, according to Chazal, a number of times until he reaches down to Egypt. The whole sale of Yosef HaTzadik and how could the brothers do this are excellent questions, but are not for our discussion today. I'd rather like to look at today one pasuk, and in fact only one part of a pasuk, and really the words of Chazal, of Rashi on this pasuk. And I'd like to take this Rashi, this understanding of our rabbis, and try to be able to decipher it a bit deeper, and then even deeper, and then perhaps even deeper than that, to be able to really uncover some of the most fundamental aspects of the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu interacts with us as the human beings, and really uncovers much of our experience in this world. And I think this is the beauty of learning, how in one pasuk, how in a certain detail, so much depth and breadth of what Yiddishkeit is about is alluded to. The pasuk tells us that right after they put Yosef in the pit, pasuk tells us in pasuk Kafhei, they sat to eat food, and they raised their eyes and they saw, behold, a caravan of Ishmaelites was coming from Gilad. Their camels were bearing spices, balsam, and lotus on their way to bring them down to Egypt. So the obvious question is, I understand why this caravan is of importance, why Yishmael is of importance, and why Yosef had specifically to be sold to him. But I need to understand, why does the Torah detail for me what this caravan was carrying? The Torah is very particular in all the details that it tells us. Obviously it conveys for us a message. So Rashi tells us, why does source 2, the Torah, consider it important to tell us what they were carrying? This was to make known the reward given to Tzaddikim, says Rashi. The Ishmaelites usually carried foul-smelling substances like kerosene and tar. For Yosef, however, it was arranged that they carry spices so he would not suffer from a foul odor. And in fact, in source number 3, Rav Wolbe, in his insights into Chumash, points out that the fact that the Torah not only mentions one spice, not 2 spices, but 3 spices, shows you the extent of the hashgacha. B'hashgacha nora, b'diktu kol kach gadol, that the Torah is telling you how these spices were chosen to accompany Yosef HaTzadik on his way down to Egypt. So let's take a look at this Rashi and raise a number of questions and try to understand this Rashi a little bit more deeply. Rashi is telling us that Yosef HaTzadik, on his way down to Egypt, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is rewarding him by giving him these spices. So the first question we have to ask is, what type of reward is this? It's almost like loeg larash. It's almost like making fun of somebody. Here Yosef HaTzadik is being torn from his family. He is just been thrown into a pit. So the question is, he's having all these terrible things happen to him. Does it really make a difference if you're going to have sweet-smelling things or foul-smelling things? The whole experience is a terrible experience. What difference does it make what these Ishmaelites were carrying? And further, in source number 8, Rav Belsky asked the Neinei Yisrael, one cannot help but notice the irony that Yosef was transported among sweet-smelling spices. Yosef had just narrowly escaped death at the hands of his brothers, and was now being taken away from his home and family to a strange land, perhaps, never to see his loved ones again. It seems odd to think that a sweet fragrance would comfort or even distract a person who's undergoing such deep suffering. No convict being led to the gallows would even notice an exceptional aroma, occupied as he is with the hopelessness of his predicament. Indeed, the pleasant fragrance seems totally out of place for Yosef. And these are the two questions we need to understand. It's not, question one, the sweet fragrance is such like a minor detail when we're talking about these terrible things that are befalling Yosef. Like, who really cares about the sweet-smelling fragrances? And B, perhaps even a more basic question, is let's say the sweet-smelling fragrances are of importance, but is Yosef HaTzadik in a state of mind to even appreciate these fragrances? Like, why are you doing this to him?